Proudly sponsored by heshes.co.uk, a fast-growing boxing equipment brand that give 20% of all sales on the branded products back to a boxing gym of your choice.
So yeah, obviously moving on to the NRL now.
Yeah.
A big week in the NRL. Fixtures
Huge.
obviously Thursday through to Sunday, followed by yesterday's Origin squad announcements, or Sunday nights, whenever it was, Origin squad announcements anyway, which have come with some shocks, but I think are mostly as expected. So I'm going to touch on that. But first of all, just going to touch on the results in the NRL last round. So Thursday we had the Broncos host the Panthers, which the Panthers came out on top 15 points to 4. The Dragons beat the Roosters 24 points to 22. We'll talk a bit more about that ending. The Eels upset the Rabbles. That was 36-16. The Sharks took care of the Knights 26 points to 6. West Tigers out of nowhere 66 points to the Cowboys 18. What a game that was. Just unbelievable there for West, who are finding themselves a bit now. Storm taking care of the Dolphins. What was a bit of a fiery encounter with a lot of Dolphins being ex-Storm players. That was 24 points to 16. The Bulldogs edging the Titans by 2 points, 20 points to 18. So if you'd bet on Titans scoring 26 again, then you just missed out. And then the Seagulls finding their form again on Sunday, beating the Raiders 42 points to 14. So I wanted to really sort of touch on a few of those games. Obviously, Panthers, I'm a Panthers fan. I could always talk about the Panthers for hours on end. Huge result for them. They lost out to the Broncos in the first game of the year. It was another close game, but 15 points to 4. Nathan Cleary masterclass. But I thought everyone in a Panthers jersey played their part on Thursday. What were your thoughts on that?
Absolutely agree. Broncos have been maybe the side to beat, the side that have been setting the what, I don't know what the word, but you get what I'm trying to say. Setting the bar. That's it. To beat, and I think for Penrith, who have had a good season, they're now back to top of the table. Obviously, it's maybe not been as good as the last 1 or 2 seasons for them. So for them to pull a result like that against such a good side is really quite impressive for them.
Yeah, I think that's us now played the Broncos and Rebels twice, lost one and won one against each of them. And I think the Panthers might not look like we're having as good a season. We're missing Api Corso. Obviously, he left, and Viliami Kikau left. But we're actually, and I don't know the exact stats, but conceding less points on average than we did in the last couple of seasons, when that's what we were known for, not conceding.
Yeah.
Maybe the attacking flair slightly gone with Mitch Kenny playing more minutes. Sonny Luke, when he comes off the bench in that hooker role, does look exciting and a bit more like Api Corso. But no, I think it just goes to show that the level of the competition, rather than the Panthers really getting any worse. I think, like I said, the Broncos, Rebels, and Panthers are who you'd put up there at the top this season. And having played them both twice and winning one and losing one just shows the level of competition. And it's not like either have been blowouts, they've been close. So positive signs from the Panthers, and back on top of the table where it feels like we belong in the past few years. Next game I really want to touch on. Did you see the ending to the Dragons Roosters?
I did not. I saw that Sydney were winning, and then all of a sudden it changed. The game was done, but I didn't see it. No.
Yeah, so I think we called this as a close game anyway after the Anzac Day clash.
Yeah.
Where the Dragons were unlucky. It looked like the Dragons got their noses in front sort of near the end, and then a kick goes up. I can't remember who catches it for the Dragons, but as he catches it and comes down with the ball, James Tedesco one-on-one strip and falls over the line, and you think that's the Roosters, sealed another game, which they needed desperately. They obviously had no Joey Manu through injury, but last sort of plays of the game, 5th tackle, I want to say, Ben Hunt goes down the short side, puts a kick up, it comes back, they pass it about a bit, it's 5th tackle, something needs to happen. Tyrell Sloan, the young fullback in Indigenous round, he's a big advocate for the Indigenous round and represents that really well. Puts a sort of all for nothing kick across the field, and it bounces up for, I think it was Fionney in the corner. well, not quite in the corner, but it bounces up
Yeah.
just in front of the Roosters defender. He collects it and manages to go under the post, and Zach Lomax puts it over to win. And I was up off my seat when that happened, and I'm not invested in either team at all, but what
Yeah.
an ending. I think, and a lot of people might not like me saying this, I think the NRL is such a good advert for rugby league in general. Just the closeness of the competition and the excitement. I think they broadcast it really well and everything like that. And that was one of those moments where rugby league just sort of came to life.
Absolutely. I think NRL's always been known for that more exciting sort of style. Yeah, it's more structured than Super League and probably every league that we really cover on here on Niche Sports. But that provides some great excitement, and you need to be switched on, concentrated all the time, and then just when you maybe not, or when it's all last gasp like that, and these off the cuff moments, it produces moments of magic, like the ending of like the ending of this game.
Yeah, exactly right. The next game was the Eels beating the Rabbitohs 36-16. Did you see any of that?
Yeah.
Or?
I followed it, but I didn't watch it. No.
Right. So yeah, it was. The Eels came out strong, and first half was really evenly contested. I think near the end of the first half, sort of, I want to say Latrell goes through or Cody Walker goes through. It's a
Yeah.
sort of 1-2 in terms of passes between those two. Um, which is South Sydney Stars, and then a long pass out to Alex Johnson on the wing, who got a double and got one disallowed, and he'd actually scored a hat trick in the last 3 Indigenous rounds, so
Wow.
he was close to getting a hat trick in
Yeah.
four Indigenous rounds in a row, but didn't quite manage it. But then the Eels just blew them out of the park. Jermaine Hopgood, what a performance he had, and he's done that all season.
Yeah.
Sad to see Ryan Matterson go off the field injured, and from what I've heard, that's at least 3 weeks, potentially up to 6, with a calf problem. He would have been a shoo-in for Origin as well, I think.
Yeah.
So unfortunate timing for him. But yeah, the Eels just played their game. I said it last week. The Eels are giant killers, and they might not
Yeah.
have the league position this year, and I'm sure they will get into the 8 eventually. But I felt like it was going to happen, and it did.
Yeah.
And
You did.
the Bunnies have been on such a high; it was bound to happen. And the Eels, I felt, were always going to be the team that done it. But lots of positives to take from the Eels, and hopefully they can finally build on that rather than winning one, losing two, losing close games, and sort of being stale in the middle of the table.
Absolutely. I think they seem to rely on them to win the games that they shouldn't win and lose the games that they should this season. And I suppose from a neutral point, that's quite exciting for the big teams. It still means you have to be switched on against the side that on paper they should win. So it's a good thing for the league, and I think Parramatta, as you say, they will get into that 8 by the end of the season. But more important, what does it mean for us on Niche Sports? We're still the South Sydney fan club after that.
I'll never be a true South Sydney fan, but yeah, we
Yeah.
did have the South Sydney fan club. I still love what the likes of Latrell Mitchell do there.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll be back better than ever. So I wouldn't
Absolutely.
write them out, write them off just yet. But yeah, I'm sure that'll always be our thing. Just appreciating
Yeah.
South Sydney. But
Yeah.
it was going to happen. It was going to happen. My
It
friend's
was.
a Niels fan, so happy for him. So
Yeah.
going into the West Tigers versus North Queensland Cowboys.
Wow.
You messaged me on Saturday and was like, "What is going on here?" with a picture of the NRL putting up the final score. And I think I can describe it in 2 words as Stafford Toa. The centre for West
Yeah.
Tigers was on a all-time sort of game. He was up against Valentine Holmes, who is one of the best centres in the NRL, and Stafford
Yeah.
Toa just had a day with him. And I love a lot of those Tigers players. I tweeted out on my sort of personal Twitter account that although Tigers brought in the likes of Papali'i from the Eels and Api Coruscant from the Panthers, etc.,
Yeah.
it's the players that have sort of come in through the ranks. Luke Brooks is, after all the criticism, playing really good footy. It was his 200th game. You have the likes of Jermaine Bula. I think I might be slightly getting that name wrong, but the fullback, and his 4th or 5th game of first grade, and he's just a player to be watched. That, like I said, Stafford Toa having a great game, and they put on about 5 tries in 15 minutes at one point in the game. There was a great image of the sort of scoreboard at the stadium was like an old-fashioned one where a guy takes the numbers out and puts them back in. So he'd taken the 50 whatever out, and everyone was like waiting and looking at it, and it's right up where the fans sit and waiting for the 60 to come out, and it just kept scoring. As for North Queensland, they were coming off the back of a good couple of games. I think we might have even tipped them here, but stuff to be worried about, definitely, I think, for them. I don't think, and this is quite early to say, I don't think they make it at all this year.
I'd agree. I think, as you say, they did come off the back of a few good results, and they've got a good squad. That maybe, well, definitely should be performing higher than 13th, which I think is where they sit now. But it's a bit of a shock to the system to them, that result after so many good results over previous weeks. To get absolutely thumped by West, who are a bit of a resurgent force, it's definitely not good, and they'll be disappointed by that.
And a quick note, just on the West Tigers again, Joe Ofahangawi seen his last Tigers game off with a try. I didn't realise it was happening this quick, but I think it's due to salary cap reasons, etc. He's off to the Eels, and I believe even starts this weekend for the Eels, or definitely plays. So he's been great for that club, who have obviously been in a bit of a stale situation in the last few years. He's been brilliant, and it'll be exciting to see what he can do at the Eels. They're still missing Campbell Gillard, so getting in that forward pack with like Junior Paulo, who I know is at Origin this week, but him getting in there's a great pickup for the Eels, but a sad loss for the Cowboys. The last sort of result I kind of wanted to touch on was just very quickly. Did you see that ending? Another great ending, the Bulldogs Titans game. I
didn't. Again, not seeing it.
So, Ockenbohr for the Bulldogs sort of gets the ball, and I think it was off an offload or sort of broken play, and it just opens up for him. And actually, I seen a Twitter video this week. I think my winner Twitter this week, where someone played the Titanic music over it. It was good. You know, Titans losing it near the death there, which they've done a couple of times now this year, as we've mentioned. But like I said, the Bulldogs, exciting times ahead for them, I think, with the likes of Creighton coming in, and Kiko to come back, Reeve Manny, Matt Burton. They've got lots of talent there, and exciting times coming up. So obviously we touched on some of the results there. I did want to talk about Origin for a bit. Obviously the squads being announced. I'm totally keen to do some more Origin videos as standalones, not part of the podcast, talk about the squads in further depth, and obviously we said potentially watch-alongs for the games and stuff like that. So State Origins, I'm just going to list off the 2 squads here. So for New South Wales Blues, we've got James Tedesco as captain and fullback, Brian Toto and Josh Adokar on the wing. So Josh Adokar made his first game back after a knee injury at the weekend, so he obviously showed that he's shaking that off. Latrell Mitchell and Tom Trebojevic at centres, with Jerome Luai and Nathan Cleary as halfbacks. We have Tavita Pangai Jr. of the Bulldogs in there with Payne Haas at props, Api Coruscant at hooker, Tyson Frizzell and Hudson Young on the edge, with Isaiah Yeo at 13. On the bench, Junior Paulo, Cameron Murray, Liam Martin and Nico Hines, Stephen Crichton as the 18th man, and I'm going to try to get the name right here, Stefano Uto Kamanu, who's from the Tigers. He's in at the 19th man and will be in the camp. So that's their squad. Going on to Queensland Maroons, we've got Reece Walsh at fullback, Selwyn Cobbo and Murray Talungi on the wings, Valentine Holmes and Hamaso Tabuai Fido in the centres, with Cameron Munster and captain Daly Cherry Evans in the halves. We have Thomas Flegler and Lindsay Collins at prop, with Ben Hunt at 9, Tom Gilbert and David Fafita on the edges, with Patrick Carrigan at 13, Harry Grant, Tino Fasamu Ali. I was trying to say it fast. I thought I had it. Big Tino, Ruben Cotter and Jai Arrow on the bench with Tom Dearden as 18th man and Christian Welch in the camp as that 19th
Yeah.
man. So what did you think of the squads after seeing them announced?
I for the most part I do agree entirely. I think was Jerome Luai a bit of a touch of conversation, bit of a point of conversation whether he
Yeah,
deserves.
so with Nico Hines being the Daily M medalist last year and Luai not being on career best form, I think that was Luai's not loved in the rugby league community,
Yeah.
as many will know, because he is a bit out there, a bit cocky. But yeah, that was the conversation. Are they going to keep Cleary and Luai together? Obviously, the Panthers combination, or is Hines going to go and start at 6? So interestingly, I'm not sure if you've seen, there was an incident from the Panthers Broncos game where Tito Taruva scores in the corner and Luai's gone to celebrate, goes to tap on the back. The ref walks in front, sort of thing. He pushes the ref very slightly, then straight away apologizes. A lot of people were calling for him to be banned for that.
Yeah.
I think it's happened before, but I think he escaped with a fine. So for touching a official.
Yeah.
But I just want to touch on that as well because I think Luai, as much as he's hated, I'm not as big a fan as a big Panthers fan, just because I do see where people come from. He's arrogant, and I just think it's his passion is just overshadowed almost. But
Yeah.
no, he's I think he's deserved. He won the Origin in 2021 when he was first involved in Origin, his Origin debut. He's won 2 premierships in a row. He took Samoa as 7. He took Samoa to the Rugby
Yeah.
World Cup final. I think he's an out and out winner and just loves the game. And I think that combination with Cleary, you've got Isaiah Yeo at 13, Tau on the wing. I think it makes sense to have him at 6, and
Yeah.
Nico Hines can come off the bench. He can play fullback. He could play 6 or 7. So, yeah, that's where I stand on it. Anyway, I think it's the right decision.
I absolutely agree. I think Jerome Luai knows Origin. He knows what the game's about, and obviously, his arrogance and his passion maybe is something that's not well liked, and it's maybe frowned more upon him in the rugby community. But it's that sort of passion and confidence and that like show off sort of behavior that in a big game like Origin is gonna be better to have.
Yeah.
And obviously, as you say, he's a born winner. He's got the experience. I think it's the right decision to play him. Obviously, should his poor form continue into Origin, which I personally think is unlikely because Origin is a bit different to NRL in it. But if that was poor form, then I wouldn't be surprised to see Hines come in for the second game.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. I do want to go more in depth, like I said, on a different video. Another couple of things I just want to touch on quickly, though. Sticking with the Blues, Campbell Graham was originally in at 18th man. We spoke about him, what a season he's having. So apparently what happened is South Sydney have sort of been managing him week by week, and he's been doing less contact at the start of weeks, so he's ready for games. I think he's carrying some sort of niggle and has been, but they've been getting him ready for games by reducing what he's doing in training. I heard, and I don't know how true this is, New South Wales were like, oh no, even though he's 18th man, you need to sort of train fully from the word go. So sent him back to South Sydney to do his usual preparations, and it'll be interesting to see if he plays for South Sydney this week. I'm not actually sure if he was named. I've not checked their lineup because I'm sure they have a game over the bye. So that's an interesting one. Stephen Crichton for him, good for him. But I do think if Tom Trbojevic hadn't scored a hat trick in Manly's win at the weekend, Campbell Graham would have either been in there at centre or in the squad in some sort of capacity. So obviously we could go deeper into that. The last sort of thing I wanted to mention on New South Wales, Tavita Pangai Jr. And Jake Trbojevic pulled out of Origin on Saturday or Sunday, I believe, sort of saying he's not fully confident that in coming back from his injury and pulled out of Origin game 1. So Tavita Pangai comes in. A lot of people not too sure about it. I like, and I tweeted this out when the squads came out, I like what he brings. He's very hit or miss. He could have a blunder, try too many offloads and get sent off,
Yeah.
or he could be exactly what they need in Origin. And it's a strange one to see him starting. I thought Junior Paulo would be starting, but he played for the Panthers in the 2021 finals run, and in a squad, I think he was at the Broncos before, and obviously at the Bulldogs now, but in a squad where he was more just a role player and just there to do a job, he stood up and done that job instead of
Yeah.
trying to do too much. And I think it could be a similar situation. The heat of Origin might get to him, but it's definitely a call where it could be genius or fall flat on its
Yeah.
face.
And I think just quickly, I think you're right. Exactly. I think Paulo, I can't
Yeah.
not sure how to pronounce it. I think he should have started definitely.
Mhm.
He's definitely the more experienced one, and as you say, with the heat of Origin, he does have maybe a bit more of a tendency to make a few errors sometimes. I think it would have been better to have him starting on the bench, but I definitely think he's a good addition to have in the team.
Yeah, and just Hudson Young getting in there and getting the starting place, that's well deserved. He's been having a stormer couple of years at the Raiders. Into the Maroons, as expected, I think. But I guess the main talking points, Reece Walsh in there without Kalen Ponga. He's
Yeah.
obviously coming back off concussions. He's also been playing 6. Reece Walsh has been playing 1 all year. So
Yeah.
I think it makes sense. Who knows what happens come game 2. And Dane Gagai not getting the call. He
Yeah.
represents Origin, and he's one of those players you think of when you think of the Maroons in the
Yeah.
last few years. I was very surprised, even putting him on the wing. I'm surprised to see Murray Tulungi in there, and I think he's just a victim of the Cowboys' inconsistency, not having the same year as he had last year. But I thought you'd see Gagai in there, who's having a great year. So a bit of a confusing one there, but yeah, in terms of Origin just now, I think
Yeah.
that's as much as I'll say. But like I said, totally keen. Later in the week or the start next week to have a deeper dive into Origin as a separate video.
I think definitely for round 1 game when we should do a watch along. I think that
Yeah,
that would be very good for sure.
that'd be great.
But yeah, I think a deeper dive into that would definitely be good as well.
Yeah, so just to wrap up and very quickly, I'm gonna say the games for next week. There's only 5 because of teams getting the buys
Yeah.
over Origin. 5 games. I'm just gonna say the results, and I'll let you say without any explanation. I'll let you say
Yeah.
what team and by how many, and I'll chip in as well. So Thursday, Dolphins, Dragons.
Dolphins by 10.
Yeah, I'm going to say Dolphins by 12. So yes, similar predictions. Eels, Cowboys.
Ooh, that's a tough one. That is one that we definitely could have gone into more detail on.
Yeah,
I think Eels by 4.
I'm going to go Eels, but I'm going to go by 18. So
Oh.
slightly different. But no, I do agree. We could have went into detail on all these games. To be fair,
Yeah.
Warriors, Broncos.
Broncos by 10.
I'm going to go Warriors by 12
Ooh.
because the amount of players Broncos will be missing due to
That's-
Origin and the Warriors coming off the bye.
Didn't think about that. That's a good point, actually.
Rabbitohs, Raiders.
Rabbitohs by 8. I think we're going to need to bounce back.
Yeah, I'm going to go Bunnies by 6, so similar again in predictions. And finally, Knights and Sea Eagles.
Sea Eagles by 12.
I'm going to go Knights by 2. So yeah.
Yeah.
So like I said, we could have went into 5 minutes on each of those games,
Yeah.
but we're better keeping it short and sweet for now. But it was good to sort of speak about last week's NRL Origin, which again, like I say, we can go into more detail on, and still some games of NRL to watch this weekend. It was I tell
Absolutely.
you, like I've said before, I play a lot of NRL fantasy, and it's been a nightmare week having half the players not available. I'm definitely going to take a loss this week, but yeah, so. That wraps up the NRL. That wraps up Championship and League One, and it wraps up the Super League. An exciting weekend of rugby league to come, and followed by a midweek game at Origin, and then the Magic weekend the following week in the Super League. So
it's going to be a brilliant week next week for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So keep an eye out for what's coming up on Niche Sports as well. We've got some exciting things lined up. Obviously some additional ventures for Jordan and myself as well. So keep an eye out on social media for everything that's going on.
Yeah.
We're growing here, and thank you to everyone for getting involved. Like we said, anyone involved in the Championship or League One, or even anyone with thoughts on the Super League or NRL, or who wants to get involved, let us know. We want to keep on pumping out good content. So it'd be great to hear from people. And as always, we are sponsored by Hez Boxing Equipment at hez-hez.co.uk, and a percentage of the sales on there go to a boxing gym of your choice. Keep an eye out for the basketball, the combat sports, the boxing podcast, also niche sports, with content from Dan coming in. And is there anything else from you, Jordan?
Not really. I believe Dan's going to Ireland at the weekend for some boxing or MMA things, so there'll be a lot of content from that. Obviously, no rugby games going to this week, but maybe some live watch-alongs possibly this week. Hull KR Wigan, I'm thinking maybe. But lots of content still to come, so keep your eyes peeled for that.
Definitely. This weekend also sees the first round of the Scottish National League, Rugby League, as with the first few games of the Scottish Premiership Wheelchair Rugby League season. So we'll be getting lots of content out from my side on Rugby League in Scotland, and potentially the Scottish Rugby League pages as well. So definitely lots going on. But again, as always, thank you for your time, Jordan, and thank you everyone for watching.
Thank you. I've enjoyed it once again.
Cheers. Have a good rest of your week.
Proudly sponsored by hez-hez.co.uk, a fast-growing boxing equipment brand that give 20% of all sales on the branded products back to a boxing gym of your choice.